sort of a timeless Wilde, so I don't think we need to suddenly put him making grey haired or anything of that nature. In terms of acting, I think it would be good to ensure that there's a journey from your characters. I think with Wilde, I would imagine initially very comfortable, very confident in himself, relaxed, and then becoming more tense towards the end. And you're a little bit tense at the beginning. Yeah. And likewise, maybe with Constance, you're always kind of chock full of emotion, or you're happy and then sort of chock full of emotion. And I think maybe the last speech you could be quite firm and sort of more distant. You're cutting him off effectively. And there's a bit of a journey from the characters rather than being on the one level. Bosie, I think Cameron made pretty confident because I'm not sure he's a character capable of positive change.
I think the court case bit, there's just a couple of little points. I think you didn't necessarily, as the lawyers, the barristers, and Seb, I noticed it from you, but also Emily, you a bit, I think you got very close to Wilde. It became quite a kind of face-off between two alpha male, well, sort of alpha males. Whereas actually, I don't think you need to do that. I don't think you need to be quite so in his face and aggressive in that sense. I think you're kind of outwitting him more than being angry. So I think you could just ease that off a little bit. And Emily, there's something about the dialogue there. I'm fairly certain, I don't know how you could do this, but I'm pretty certain the barrister, the dialogue from you as a barrister is actually what a judge would say. Yeah. At the end. I don't know whether there's any... Yeah, I don't know what you can do about that, but it sort of sat with me thinking, but she's just been the barrister, how come she's now giving judgment?
Is there scope to do either a blackout before the judge's verdict, because it felt very fast that you're going from suddenly finishing your final interrogation and then going straight to jury verdict. There kind of needs to be some sort of moment to hold it together. So if there's scope to light and then come up, that would make more sense of you being...
Do you think that would need a change of accent characterisation?
Much as anything else, a wig would work. Funnily enough, I know it sounds silly, but just to say I'm no longer the barrister, and then this is the judgment of the judge, and you could actually stand more detached at that point, and as if because that's what a judge would be, much more detached from the whole thing probably than the barrister.
Just a slight question. I played 4 characters. Did that come across? Because multi-rolling, did all 4 of them come across? Was anyone particularly weak? One of them says like 2 lines in that box scene. Any notes on the characters? Or
your multi-role playing, I think, is really strong. And I think you've got 4 very, I think they are distinctive. Your barrister and one of the boxes is good. Both is really strong, and I think your physical. I think I'm also going to credit between you and Dan. Your performance, you're being so brave in what you're covering. Wow, the truth and the integrity in terms of what you're presenting on stage is deeply impressive. The maturity you're showing in terms of the performance you're giving, I think, is superb, and that's coming through really, really. The strength there is fabulous. I think you have scope to be a stronger barrister, still a barrister. You do a lot of pacing. I think the same as said that you need to be
rooted.
Echoing what Mr. Ritchley said. Rooted. It's still the gravitas you've got there is much stronger, and you wouldn't be wearing a hat in court.
Okay, I'll take
so
it off.
It's almost to take it off and ring it would be. So keep it as a prop, but I don't think you'd be allowed to be wearing it.
Oh, I was just going to say, Mrs. Jean was saying about slowing down that scene, and I know you guys are already quite tight for time. You're telling me how you're going to cut it down. I think that opening scene where you're writing the letters, I don't really know how much that does for me. Like when we're walking in, I really don't know how much that does for the overall piece.
Mr. Henderson.
Yeah, just going back to the judgment. To me, I found it kind of awkward that Dan was actually on stage, and it just would seem to me that you could be questioning the witnesses and then call Wilde up as a way into it, so you probably wouldn't need a blackout. You just need the witnesses to go and call Wilde up for the...
So did it not come across that he was kind of reacting to what the witnesses were saying?
Yeah, I just didn't think it was necessary though. I mean, the key to that is the questioning of the witnesses and what they say. I mean, we would gather that Wilde would not be impressed. I don't think we need to see it. And I just think it might be quite a dramatic idea he could perhaps stand with his back to what's going on, and then Mr. Wilde, and he comes forward.
It's a tiny little point, but the final scene with Seb, you were standing really, really close to the statue. I was always thinking you're about to knock it off.
I think that's the
Seb, your accent for the witness, I couldn't discern what it was.
The American?
So I think it needs to be stronger, whatever it is, more pronounced. The other thing is, on that last scene, the thing is, I really liked the statue, and I got that, and I knew what it was, or the bust, sorry. But I didn't like the last line. The last line of the play jarred with me for some reason.
Yeah.
Felt a bit forced, and almost unnecessary. Just let the audience get it, I think, or maybe just trim it a bit. I don't know. It suddenly felt a bit schooly. When everything was your dialogue is so strong in this, from all of you, so strong and intelligent, and that line just suddenly that didn't feel quite so intelligent. It felt forced and obvious. So you didn't think that.
I felt there were an awful lot of occasions you weren't playing to the traverse. And just thinking the examiner is going to be looking at something. If you put your audience in traverse, you play to the traverse. And the opening scene was one where that was the star of the show at first. I began to lose interest in, because you weren't moving or playing to me. I saw the back of somebody for the entire thing. And so I was beginning to lose interest. And one of the things that struck me is that the acting could be stretched out to use the traverse. And it's been a revelation to me to find out that was lit, because I didn't see that. And one of my comments was going to be, because it was only at the start and end, could it not just be on that portrait? So actually you stretch the acting out, and you can even take a photograph of that and have that projected, and then the projection comes back on at the end, and it gives you the chance to play with the traverse. When I was briefly listening to the lines yesterday, and I was saying, it sounds to me like you are talking to the audience, and I didn't feel that you were.
Are you saying that mainly about the first scene and the ending?
Well, I think probably at the end it could work again without having to wheel that back in. It could be, you still have that tucked in a corner, little spotlight on it for the entire show, but then at the start and end it's just projected, I don't know. But it just seemed to dominate the scene. And in fairness, any second I thought you were going to bump into it, because you were so close to it. And I became more interested in, were you going to knock it over, and what would you do if that happened? You know.
Were accents sustained, and did they come across natural, particularly the Queen's English ones that us three do?
Yeah. RP's lovely. Seb, you de-energise between your words, and you need to really clip your D's and T's at the end, so you tend to drop off a bit, and I think it's definitely articulation in the words for you would be really strong. You've also got a hard job, because you're doing the main accent run, that they need to be very distinctive, as Mr. Ritchie said, and you need to be really sensuous. You're a Frenchy lady. The accent, I mean, from my perspective, the French accent sounded very consistent, but much more your physicality. You've got scope to really play with it more. Sexy lady is what we need to see more.
We're massively overrun on time in the play.
Any scenes that you think are irrelevant or
not needed.
I thought the beginning bit with the whole arms didn't really get it personally.
Do you think we could do that while the audience are coming in?
Yes.
But as they're...
I think you could, but you may.
I don't know how useful it is at all, actually. I think just get rid of it.
You need the projection to be a handwritten Oscar rather than a printed letters. So because you're drawing the letters, aren't you, as you go through? But because it's a O appears, you need to have a projection of an actually handwritten letter appearing as you're drawing it. Does that make sense? So that would make more sense. I think you could do it with people coming in then.
I just sort of looked and it was written. Maybe that's where I'm sitting, but I didn't see that at all.
I was watching you but didn't really realise you were writing it until at the end. I really like this, what you did with the story, but I don't think it needs to be as long as it was. Did you understand the puppetry, the storyline?
How many of you could actually see the puppetry?
Apart from this, I could.
Okay.
Did the storyline come across? the relevance of the puppetry.
I wanted to keep on watching Dan while he was acting, and then I felt that I kept on having to look both ways. So maybe finding a way so so everyone in the audience can see both the puppetry and Dan doing it at the same time.
Also, I could see you behind the screen, so I was just sort of watching you guys behind the screen, like doing it as opposed to actually watching the screen.
I'm very conscious of time, so Mia.
Yeah, was there any distinctive sound that you think didn't work? Yeah, Laura?
Yeah, there was like a voice when they were in the frames. There was a like pre-recorded voice that was quite quiet.
Yeah, that was just.
Yeah, that's the only one I noticed.
At the beginning and end, there's like a sound of something like dropping.
Yeah, the crash.
I don't know what crash is.
The door. Jail door.
I think your laughter could probably fade in and fade out rather than that, like that in a trial scene.
Yeah, in the court
It's a
reaction.
bit, no, oh God.
Yeah, that was like
That's actually common to most sound cues. They didn't fade out. They actually just stopped. That happened a lot of the music sound cues as well. So you need to smooth that out.
Yeah, one of them was
And
really
also,
loud.
yeah, there was the first harp sound was incredibly loud, and so you probably have to have time to do all of the levels. But I think if you have, you need to redo one or two of them. Can I make a suggestion? Is Rob here? Good, because I'm going to try and give him some more work. I just wondered whether you could actually have the courtroom scene sent to 2 speakers behind the seats, so that when the laughter happens in the courtroom scenes, it comes from us. So you just have a different send on the mixer and send those to us.
The recorded address as well that they're dealing with from the box just feels really awkward because it feels like it's coming from someone you can't see rather than it being from behind. So when whoever is talking to Dan, it's just
So the first was it recorded or just microphone the first time? Emily, I think it was you. Did you record your voice the first time?
Yeah, that was really good.
I don't know why it was. I don't know whether I was being stupid. But I couldn't work out why it was recorded. Why you didn't say it and then walk off.
Me?
Yeah, it's one of the recordings. I'm sorry, I wasn't more specific, but it's one of them.
Was it in the
Work
box?
out why
In the boxes?
Seb, when he
Seb,
walks
yeah, I
down
didn't
there.
understand why it was recorded. I thought you could have just said it.
Oh, that was just...
Maybe it was seven. No, maybe it was seven. Yeah, there was one that just couldn't work out why it was done.
Did you find that the relationship between Constance and Wild was good? Was the acting good?
Yeah.
And then Bosie and Wild.
Yeah, that's really good.
Thank you so much. We're just after 8 o'clock. Thank you for coming and supporting them and for your lovely feedback. That's brilliant.